Good morning, folks. So today we've got a lot going on today. We've got a lot of small projects that we've got to get done. Some of the things that we're going to be working on today is, right now I'm going to be feeding pigs. And then we've got to do an oil change on our generator, and we also have to get that thing started. We have not seen sun in, oh heck, it's been at least 5-10 days since we've seen sun. It's been pretty crazy. So we have been running the generator about every 3 or 4 days just to keep the batteries topped off. In addition to that, we've got to fill up our wood shed, and we also have to fill up our cook wood. All right, well, with that said, let's go feed the pigs. So our pigs pretty much eat just about anything. We do give them all of our scraps, and in addition to that, we have some pretty incredible neighbors that like feeding them too. All right, so normally when we have a lot of scraps, I won't feed them any of their mash, but we're gonna feed them a little bit of mash today. Just so that they get some of those minerals and vitamins that are in the mash. But I got to get it done now. Otherwise, they're not going to let me pour it in their bowls. Okay, so now that the pigs are taken care of, and the dogs are making sure of that, we're going to go ahead and head over to the GPS where we're going to change the oil on the generator and then get that thing up and running. The generator that we use for powering up, or at least charging up our batteries, is the Champion Inverter 4650. Now this inverter is a new one for us. We have a inverter generator that we use. It's a small version, and it's a Harbor Freight generator, and we absolutely love it. If you have the ability to get the inverter generators versus the normal generators, I highly recommend it. You definitely do pay for it up front, but the benefit is that the generator actually runs at a lower RPM when you're not running a big load on it. And what that means is less gas. And so to change the oil on these generators, it's fairly simple. They give you this little tube that's attached to the generator, and this is the actual cap here. So basically all we're going to do is we're going to reach in here, loosen the oil cap to allow air in. And this is the cap that we'll be filling the oil through. So we loosen that up. And then we're going to take our little bottle here. We're going to take the cap off. We're just going to let it drain into here. Okay, so now that we've drained all the oil, we're just going to put the cap back on like that. And we shove that back into there. I think ultimately this is actually really cool the way that they did this. The other generators I have do not have this tube, and so it makes it a little difficult to drain the oil. All right, so to fill it, we're basically going to use this funnel. We're going to stick the funnel in here, just like so. And for this, we're going to be using 5W30 Mobile 1. The reason we're using 5W30 as opposed to the recommended 10W30 is because we're in the winter time. And as we all know, the 5 is going to be a little thinner, so it's going to be easier to start. So what we're going to do is go ahead and get this thing filled up and then get it started. Okay, so now that it's filled, go ahead and put that cap on it. clean off our funnel. Stick that over here. Now I'm going to continue to use the synthetic 530 throughout this season. Again, primarily because it is cold. And that's it. To start this generator, it's fairly easy. We just turn this knob all the way to the right, and then we give a pull. There we go. What we're looking for the AC in charging light to start blinking. If we come over here, you can see the AC input rise up to about 1300 watts. Now we don't like doing that a lot, but unfortunately because of where we live, we have to run this generator. Well, over the last couple of weeks, we've had to run it about every 3 days, every 4 days, just to make sure that our batteries stay filled. It's an unfortunate reality living here in Maine, especially living off-grid, where we rely on our solar system and primarily the batteries to keep us afloat and you know, keep the lights on. All right, I'm going to clean up, move on to the next project. So the next job we have to do today is to move firewood. We have our large woodshed, and we need to take wood from the large woodshed and move it over to the small woodshed that's right next to the cabin. I'm not sure how much wood we're going to need, but we're going to go ahead and use the truck. Normally I would use the tractor, but I think using the truck is going to be a little bit easier today, simply because I don't have to get the tractor started, running, get it out of the shed and so forth. So we're going to try to use the truck. Jen's going to help out today and yeah, load up our firewood. We're walking to the border.
Get some pictures.
Why do you want to get pictures of the border?
I like the scenery pictures. I like snow. I like nature. Kind of works out here.
It does. So all of the pictures that you see on our Facebook and on Patreon, that's all her. Oh, yeah. Yeah, cheap plug for Patreon. So we do have a Patreon. Jen does post quite a few pictures that we do not post on other media sites. So yeah, if you want to help support us, go join the Patreon and go check out what Jen posts. How often do you post on Patreon?
I try to do it several times a week.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty cool, and you know, obviously it's, you know, certainly helping us tremendously. So okay, enough of cheap plug.
Oh, that goes through on that.
Oh yeah.
Oh, I felt it. Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Huh?
I'm glad Border Patrol broke a trail for us.
Well, I broke a trail for Border Patrol.
Oh, you came back here?
Yeah, did you see these prints? That's moose.
Yep, that would be moose.
Yeah.
Walked right down through there.
Yeah.
I wonder if he had his passport.
Yeah, we're gonna stack this stuff up on top of there. Get that in there first.
More. Yeah, it's a little bit.
You know you've been in my dreams a lot lately, and I kind of remember some of them vaguely. You know they seem so real at the time, and from the first time I saw you smile, you know the skies were gold and they went on for miles. You were the most beautiful sight I'd ever seen. Just seemed to stand still, and the sky was raining $100 bills when you stood there in your yard. And now you're floating through the city like a wild balloon, from the sands of California to the Maine Woods, in the wild and the endless blue. Through the city like a wild balloon, from the highways of Toronto down to Saskatoon, by the light of the lonesome moon, by the light of the lonesome moon.
Okay, so we've got the kitchen wood filled up as much as we're going to fill it up today. We could go a little higher, but you know, honestly, this is probably 2 weeks, maybe 3 weeks worth of firewood for the cook stove. So we're going to leave it here, and then we'll check back with it probably in a few weeks and see where we're at. Okay, and now we are also done filling up the wood shed. Originally, when we started doing this, in the beginning of this year, we had filled this thing all the way up to the front. We actually had another tier here, and that would make 4 tiers in this little shed. However, what we found is that it's kind of nice having this little area here, that if the weather is bad or something, we can kind of get in here and then fill up our bag and then bring it into the cabin. So, but this is filled up, and we're pretty happy about it. So I am sure you're wondering, how long will these 3 tiers last? Well, the answer to that depends on how cold it is. Right now, with the temperatures in the teens up to the 30s, which is where we've been, we only use the stove, the wood cook stove. If the temperatures get below the teens and into the single digits, we'll turn on the second stove that we have in the den area. So again, it all really depends. Right now, with running one, only the cook stove, this is probably, hey hon, how much wood do you think, or at least how long do you think the wood we have in here will last?
Well, with it getting colder, probably about 3 weeks, month.
Yeah.
If it was the same temperatures that it's been, over a month or more.
Yeah.
Because that cook stove, I mean, I put 2 halves in it the other day, and we were gone for probably
about 6 hours.
6 hours or more, and it still was warm.
Yeah.
I mean, it was, the fan was still spinning, still had a nice bed of coals in there. House was comfortable.
Yeah. I mean, so if we went with 3 weeks, I think it's about 3 weeks So that's good. You know, we'll revisit this sometime in January, I suppose.
It is January.
We'll revisit this in February. Hey, she married me, okay? I might be the weird one, but she married me, so there's, you know, I don't know. All right, well, we're gonna wrap this up. We're gonna go have a bite to eat, and then, yeah, we got more jobs to do today.
We do. Let's get at it.
Pig poop.
That's your job. That's his job.
So while we were taking a quick drive to go check the mail, we found that our snow fence had a little bit of damage. So Jen, being the trooper that she is, she jumped out and she's out there kicking butt and fixing it. Hey, babe, you got this?
I got it.
Thank you. It's so beautiful out here.
How's that look? Does it look okay?
Yeah, that looks good. All right, thank you.